Hello, this is Alex Ramsey, host of Night of the Batman, and today I have a very special review for you guys. Sorry I haven't had any new reviews up recently. I've just been really busy with Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff, so that's the main reason why. So I'm here to review part 2 of the Dark Knight Returns movie adaptation by Bruce Timm and his animation team from Warner Premiere. Okay, so this movie took me by surprise a lot. I'm going to go into potential spoilers, so if you guys haven't seen it, now would be the time to leave. Okay. I guess I'll just go down a list of what just sort of took me aback a little bit, and this will be part of the review. It's good stuff, though. It's a very good movie. It's definitely not for kids, though. It's very much like Christopher Nolan's Batman series, and that kids really shouldn't be watching it. It's not meant for them, and it might scare or disturb them, particularly some of the Joker scenes. So for those of you who don't know, those of you still here that haven't read the book, this part picks up where Joker has just got out of his catatonic state, and he's going out to cause trouble, basically. And through this, he ends up killing a bunch of people on a late night show he's on, and basically just goes back to his old ways of just destroying things and trying to bring the Batman out. And I'll get to performance and just how gruesome he is and later on. The main bullet points of these are we get to see Superman now. He sort of, in my opinion, he sort of seems like the government's puppet. Like, the only reason he's allowed to stay around and do what he's doing is because he basically is on a leash by Ronald Reagan and the president and the U.S. government, and basically does whatever they tell him to do. This later brings him into conflict with Batman. Now in this we get to see, because due to the previous one, the mutant leader was defeated, so now we get to see the different factions that used to be mutants sort of splitting off into their own little sections and groups. We have the Sons of Batman in this. The Brunos, I guess you'd call them. They're sort of like Nazis, and then we just have some of the mutants that are left over that really haven't sort of went over to either side, just sort of kept being mutants after their leader was gone. We also get Oliver Queen in this, which we're not really told, but he helps out Bruce during a big bomb that's dropped by the Russians, because during this they're in a big war with the Russians and they win, but it ends up destroying, like not destroying, but making a major blackout for Gotham. And through this, Superman has to go after Batman on orders from the U.S. government, and the Green Arrow / Oliver Queen, which is missing an arm, by the way. We're not really told why. It's just sort of implied that Superman had something to do with it. Leads to a final confrontation between them, and then the resolution of the movie, which I won't really get into that much. Okay, so now that I told you basically what the movie was about, or the main bullet points anyway, I'll get into just my overall review of it. This movie took me aback by how brutal it was and how much it got away with the PG-13 rating. It's crazy what they got away with this. I'm particularly thinking about the scenes where there was a haunting scene in this where the Joker was running through the Tunnel of Love when Batman was chasing him, and he just started shooting people in there, just arbitrarily, just started gunning down people, and it's very disturbing. That's next to Heath Ledger, I think that's the most sort of disturbing take we've seen on the Joker. Michael Emerson very much fits that role and gives us a very different, very disturbing and creepy Joker that's different from anything you've seen before. It's not like Mark Hamill. It's not like Heath Ledger. It's not like Jack Nicholson. It's just very much his own thing, and it's an older Joker, which is interesting. Also, other things in this, like how brutal they are. Like when Joker actually snaps his neck, of course that is in the comics, but in this it feels much more brutal. And just, like, I'm surprised they got away with that. I mean, I was expecting them to cut away halfway through there or something just because of the PG-13 rating, but they show the whole thing, and it's really amazing what they're able to get away with in this. It very much makes it a stronger film. I think if they had tried to cut a lot of this stuff out and tried to just tone it down a little bit, it wouldn't have been as strong, and it wouldn't have had as much of an impact as it ended up having. This movie, it's a continuing story, so basically everything I said about the first story still holds true in this. Story's great in this. Of course, adapting from one of the best, arguably one of the best Batman stories ever. I mean, what do you expect? But I like how with this, unlike Year One, it's very much them adapting a story, but they're not following it beat for beat like they did with Year One. They take their own liberties with it, which I like. I mean, you don't pay money just to go watch the same exact thing that you read in a book because you have the book for that. Why do you need the movie then? I like how they took liberties and it showed us different things that we didn't see in the Frank Miller book. Like seeing Sarah, his Commissioner Gordon's wife, that was cool. We never really saw her in the book. She was mentioned, but we never actually saw her face. Thought that was kind of cool for a Batman nerd, just because there's also little Easter eggs in this one too. Like during the big final confrontation between Superman and Batman, you see a Christopher Reeve poster in the background, which I thought was pretty cool. If you could hit that, if you could catch that. I like how, again, just how brutal they're able to go with this and how good the performances are through this. Everyone, it seems like anyway, they're bringing their A game to this. It seems like no one's shortchanging their performances in this. And the animation, everything is top notch. It's beautiful, it's flawless, and it looks great. I think if they had tried to completely be 100% like Frank Miller's art, it wouldn't look as good. I think that this art style works very well. The music, everything, the performances. I'm blanking on his name right now, but his last name is Emerson, I believe, that plays Joker. He turned in a great performance. He is so creepy and just his performance is so amazing as Joker. That's one of the creepiest scenes I've seen, is in the Tunnel of Love when he's just going around just shooting people again, and then their final fight, they halfway through they run through this funhouse mirror, which is very much reminding me of The Killing Joke. It's very much a Batman fight, but it's the very last Batman and Joker fight, and you very much sort of feel that. I like how in this, I think this was the first time that this sort of side had been revealed of the Joker, of like he sort of has this sort of weird, sort of loving relationship with Batman, which is kind of creepy, and also just kind of weird too. Like he has almost like he's in love with Batman or something, which has been addressed in other things since then. Like I just recently got done reading Batman, A Serious House on Serious Earth. It's Arkham Asylum story by Grant Morrison. He said he's very much influenced by this, and he very much plays up that whole like Joker loving Batman thing. And it's very good. Again, I'm shocked with what they were able to get away with, and they didn't hold back in this, which I really like. I think if with their previous things, if they had done this earlier, it might not be as good, because I think really with this they were just allowed to cut loose, sort of. And there are scenes that are slightly different, just because I guess because of the rating, they had to change one or two scenes up. But I'm glad they included stuff that was straight from the comics and pivotal scenes, like the Joker breaking his own neck after Batman snaps his neck just so he's paralyzed. Joker does it the rest of the way, so he sort of wins that time. That's just a constant. Frank Miller addresses that, and also this movie does. That's just a constant thing with them. Joker wants him to kill him. He would want nothing better. That would have meant that he would have won. And now they think that Batman actually killed the Joker. So yeah, some of the other fun parts of this, I know right now this isn't really a review because I'm just listing off my favorite parts, but really there's a lot in this, is seeing Batman in disguise. It's sort of weird, because he's dressed up as like this old homeless woman like he is in the book, and it's just sort of weird hearing, I think his name's Peter Weller, he was RoboCop, I believe. Hearing that manly voice come out of that old lady is just sort of weird and kind of funny too. I'm surprised they're able to get away with certain things, like having the Nazi girl with the swastika tattoos on her boobs. I was shocked that they're able to get away with some of the stuff they got away with. They really pushed the boundaries in this, and it really made this a much stronger movie than if they had just held back and not had gone as far as they did. I think it makes it stronger that they didn't hold back and that they just sort of pushed the boundaries with what they were able to get away with the PG-13 rating. I also think it was better that this was split into two parts, because if this was just a one-part movie, they would have to cut out a whole bunch of stuff and it wouldn't be as good. I'm kind of wondering now if they're going to release, eventually, if they're going to release part 1 and part 2 as one movie. That would be really nice instead of the separate parts, but if not, this works too. I'll buy both of them. But yeah, I really can't say anything bad about this movie. I like every single moment of it. It's great. For you, those of you out there who just saw the movie but haven't really read the comic, I'd highly advise you read that too. But this also very much does it justice. It addresses themes like that you don't normally see in most superhero movies, like, is the government really the good guys? And in this case, I don't think they are. Is the government that really uses a force like Superman as just a big bully to the other superpowers of the world really that good of a government? And is Batman really on the right side by standing up against those? Those kind of questions are thrown into this movie. It also very highly criticized and falls down on the news in general. It portrays them as being sort of idiots and just sort of feeding to the whole fire that is this sort of corrupt world that Batman, the older Batman, is now in. And it's like they portray the news as just uncaring, just reporting. They don't care about anything, just their next report. Like they sort of just looks at them through that lens. Like they'll do anything for their next report. One instance of this is when I think it's the mayor or senator or something falls out of a building, and the guy just keeps reporting. He's like, oh, he just fell out of the building with no emotional response at all. It sort of portrays them as just sort of heartless, just lookers on, basically. It also isn't entirely a negative movie or book, though. I think it very much shows in certain scenes, like when the mutants and the people start helping to put out the fire of the buildings, when the whole city is just sort of turning into chaos, is that people, the people that Batman are really fighting for are inherently good, and people in extreme situations really do have good in them. That this is entirely bad. It's not condemning everybody, that there are good people in the world, and that they just sort of need Batman to just sort of wake them up from the sort of pollution that's been polluting their very minds and turning them into this sort of apathetic sort of people, which is sort of like Batman Begins a little bit, that they sort of need him to make them realize that they are still good people. There's still good people out there, that they can still help each other and not only look out for themselves, which I think is a very good message to this. The final fight with, before I close out, the final fight with Batman and Superman was amazing. That fight's very brutal, and it's one thing seeing it on the page and another thing seeing it in a movie. I think they did a really good job. They sort of extended it out, which I don't really mind. I think it's better that they made it longer. It's very different from the other fights in this, and that's just sort of very much like a street fight. It's not like the other ones where he's using all of his weapons and stuff. It's just very much just like bare knuckled, just them going at it. I guess that's pretty much it. The voice acting and everything in this is great. Art is great. They did an amazing job adapting the story. And this, and also the more violent scenes help make it a stronger film, and also the messages in this make it even more strong. I'd advise you, if you haven't yet, to go out and watch Part 1 and Part 2. It's a very great movie. If I had to rate it right now, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5, and that goes, both of these together would probably be a 5 out of 5 too. So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I should have another review out to you soon. Maybe that Arkham Asylum book that I just got done reading. That's a very interesting book. I'll get back to you on that. So thanks for watching, and see you guys around. Subscribe, like, you know the drill. Alright, guys.